You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the U.S. Paralympian para track and field, Kaitlin Bounds. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in competing in para track and field?
Honestly, I didn't even think I would be. My original dream goal was to be a marathon runner, so I kind of stumbled into para track and field on accident.
What was that experience like for you going to Arkansas Tech and getting to compete in para track and field?
It was crazy, but here's the crazy thing. Para track and field did not exist when I was in college. I didn't find out about it till about 2016.
What was that experience like when you did find out about the para side of track and field?
Shocking because I didn't know. I was actually watching the United States track and field trials for Rio, and then they switched it over to the para track and field trials. And I happened to see Mikey Brannigan on there, and they said he had autism. Like, wait a minute, there's a place for me here too. I can be a Paralympian. Hey, mom. Hey, dad. I'm calling to them, yelling to them in another room, saying, "There's another guy out here just like me who has autism that's competing Paralympics."
What was that experience like for you getting to watch that 2016 Paralympics and knowing that one day you could go to the Paralympics?
I honestly didn't know I could go. I mean, but that day I just thought, oh, there's another avenue for me to get to compete for Team USA.
How was that experience like when you did get to compete for Team USA and finally make the US team?
Very emotional because I've been waiting for years. I told people at 14 years old I wanted to be an Olympian, represent Team USA, and everyone just laughed, saying I was a dreamer, that a person like me with autism could never be an Olympian or Paralympian.
In 2017, what was that experience like competing for the World Para Athletics?
It was a little overwhelming because that was my first international experience. I had no international experience at that time. So it was a little overwhelming because, like, what's this? What's that?
How was that experience like when you did make it to the American Games for the Pan Am American Games?
That one was really hard. I can only do the 400, and I am not a sprinter. So that was a little more challenging than going to Worlds.
What was that experience like training for that Pan Am American Games?
Very tough because for years I've always been a long distance athlete, and training for the 400 was really challenging. I've never worked with blocks. I have never done anything like that. Like hear the start of a gun, jump out of the blocks and start going a full 400-meter lap like that.
As you talk about that, what was that transition like going from different disciplines of the long distance to the 400 meter?
It was very challenging because I've never sprinted before. And when I told people I had to do that, they were like, "What? You're a distance runner. How in the world are you getting to doing the 400?" I'm like, I know, I have no idea. I'm probably going to be last.
What was that feeling like when you started to qualify and you knew that the Paralympics were a dream?
Oh my God. I've been waiting 18 years just to be a Paralympian. I've been going for this dream since I was 14, but I've had a lot of health problems the last couple of years. So this would be my very first games.
What was that feeling like going into Paris in 2014, competing for your first Paralympic Games?
I went to my first Paralympic Games at 2017.
What was that experience like in 2017 going to that first Paralympic Games?
I'm sorry. 2024 is my first Paralympic Games.
What was that experience like in 2024 going to your first Paralympic Games?
Very overwhelming. I actually didn't find out till I almost got off the plane at St. Louis? St. Louis, and I started crying on the airplane. I could not stay for the ceremony where they announced the team, and everyone couldn't believe I was crying, and they thought something was wrong. So they were when they found out, like, "Oh, congratulations!" I'm not a good emotional person. I just cry a lot when stuff like that happens.
For you, what was that feeling like when you received your Paralympic gear and saw like the rings, the symbol of the Paralympics on your gear?
I mean, I cried. My parents cried. We could not believe that this just happened. I had a lot of health problems, so we didn't know what was going to happen.
How was that feeling like getting to represent the US on the Paralympic stage?
It was wonderful. It's like finally all my dreams have come true.
When you did get to Paris, what was that feeling like the first time you got to race in Paris?
It was emotional, but I felt ready for it.
What was that Mama I Made It moment like for you?
So I'm sorry, say that again.
What was that Mama I Made It moment like for you when you were in Paris?
Um, I'm afraid I don't understand the question.
What was that moment like when you made it to Paris, knowing that all of your hard work made it off?
Oh, it was wonderful. I'm here. I'm here. Was like really excited. I think I almost jumped out of my seat.
Of course, standing there, what was that feeling like when you first started racing?
I honestly don't remember anything of it other than just starting the race and finishing it. Because I was very sick at the time. That's what happened.
What are some of your game day routines and rituals like preparing for your races?
Usually I do a little warming up, not too much because there's a fine line of overdoing it, and do uh, do some stretching and then sit down and relax for a little bit, try to calm my nerves and think about what I'm going to do for the race because I freak out pretty easily.
Who are some of the influential people in your career that have shaped you into the athlete you are today?
My longtime friend and mentor, Coach Correa, was the very first person outside my family to inspire me to go to sports. He saw something in me when I was like 12 years old in a gym class. He saw me running around and said, "Hey, Kaitlin, why don't you try this out? Try this running thing out." I'm like, "What? I don't know anything about sports. I've got asthma. I've got autism. They're not going to want me on the team." So it took a lot of convincing, but he's been my biggest supporter outside my family since I started, and he was so proud of me when he found out that I was making the team to go to Paris.
What is that like getting to compete along some of your teammates like Jessica Hims?
It's wonderful. I mean, a few of these guys I've idolized since I was like 14. Like Tatiana McFadden is one of my biggest influences. I knew about her before I knew about the Paralympics.
What was that feeling like when you did get to compete against some of those people that you grew up watching?
It was really crazy. I'm like, really? Am I really doing this? What is happening?
What was that feeling like getting to live out your Paralympic dream?
It was very wonderful. I was so happy. Like, I wanted to scream, I wanted to cry because all my emotions were like people doubted me, people said I was a dreamer, and there I was in the Paralympics, finally proving that I don't have to be this crazy girl to be a dreamer.
Of course, what are some of your favorite memories and moments so far competing?
Getting to pin trade with the other countries, which was fun.
What was that experience like getting to pin trade and getting to see other countries at the Paralympics?
It was wonderful. One of my coaches challenged me to start pin training. I was very nervous about it, but he challenged me to do it. And like the first day, I had like 5 pins, and then my lanyard got so heavy that I had to remove some of them just to get more.
What would you tell your younger self now, looking back on your dreams of making it to the Paralympics?
I tell my younger self that not to give up on that dream because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You could get there, but it could take a while.
Did you ever know that you were going to become a Paralympic?
No, I did not.
What was that feeling like when you finally knew that that dream was a reality?
I just got emotional. I started crying. My coach had sent me a little video congratulating me. My family was very excited. I'm like, I was just an emotional wreck.
How will that feeling feel like when you get to receive the PLY behind your last name?
It will be wonderful when it gets there.
What is that feeling gonna feel like when you get to receive that ring, knowing that all of your hard work paid off?
Actually, I have the ring on right now. I don't know if the camera can. I actually have my Paralympic ring on right now. Let's see. And was there a way to? Oh,
Yeah, we can. Where's your hand? Oh, there.
there it is. That's the Paralympic ring that they give you when you make the team.
What was that feeling like receiving that ring and putting it on?
It was one. It was wonderful. Like I didn't even know about these until I went to Paris. Like I didn't know Paralympic rings or Olympic rings were given to all athletes who made Team USA.
What is that balance like coming back home after the Paralympics?
It's been very crazy because I live in a small town and we have had no Paralympians or Olympians in our city. So it's really caused a buzz, and everyone's wanting to take pictures with me, talk to me, congratulate me on making Team USA.
What is it like getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
It's a little overwhelming. I'm kind of trying to be a low key person, like tone it down, guys, tone it down, because I'm not used to all that attention. I'm not an attention seeker.
What are some of your future plans in your Paralympic journey?
I am definitely going to shoot for the Los Angeles Olympics. I was actually born in Los Angeles, where the next Olympics is going to be. So that will be more of a homecoming for me because I used to live in that city.
What is some of the things that you're doing now to prepare for that training for Los Angeles Paralympics?
I'm just starting to slowly get back to running. I took a few weeks off after having health issues. And so we're just kind of slowly building back up. We're doing what's called foundation training. So I'm not running every day or not running as fast as I probably could be. I don't even know when I'll start track practicing again. We do not have any info on when the next world championships will be for next year.
What will that feeling feel like to you, as you said, being from Los Angeles and being raised in Los Angeles, getting to run in Los Angeles?
I'll be really happy. That's my home city. I mean, I know the streets pretty well, and I know that area really well, so it'll be more of a homecoming.
What advice would you give those people in college that are looking to compete in the adaptive sports?
I'm gonna say that it's gonna be long. It's gonna be hard. There's gonna be a lot of paperwork, but if you are really interested, think you got a chance, go for it.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to be Paralympians one day and competing at the Paralympics?
If you guys think there's a place for you here, I mean, there's a lot of categories. It's not just autism. We've got visually impaired athletes. We've got wheelchair. We've got arm and leg amputee athletes. And if you have any one of those disabilities, you can definitely go for the Paralympics.
What advice would you give those future Paralympians that are competing for multiple Paralympics?
To dream big, because you don't know what's going to happen. Something could happen, and you guys may be the next ones to come up here.
Where can my listeners find you on social media?
Okay, I have an athletes page, and I have a Facebook page, Instagram, and Threads to find me.
Thank you again, Kaitlin Bounds, for your interview, and best luck in your future in this Paralympic journey as a para track and field.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Kaitlin Bounds, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.